planet Eric's Prime had once been known for its blue skies and silver mountains. It was a peaceful colony where both humans and traders from other species came to live and work. But that peace ended when the Zorak Empire invaded. The alien armies struck without warning, turning the cities into burning fields. The humans fought bravely, but the Zorak were stronger, and their machines filled the sky like black clouds. Commander Ryan Hale moved through the ruins with his rescue squad. His armor was scratched and covered in dust, but his spirit was unbroken. The air was thick with smoke, and every step shook the ground from distant explosions. Ryan's team had one mission left: to find survivors before their evacuation ship left orbit. The communication device on his wrist buzzed with static. "Commander, the main route is gone," said Lena, his second in command. "The Zorak tanks have blocked the northern streets. We need another path." Ryan studied the map glowing on his wrist screen. The signals of his team blinked weakly across the damaged terrain. "We'll take the south tunnel," he said. "It's unstable, but it's our only chance. Stay close and watch for motion traps." The team moved together through the ruins. The tunnel was half collapsed, filled with broken metal and fire. The sound of falling stones echoed like thunder. Ryan's helmet scanner picked up faint life signs beneath the debris, but the readings were weak. He stopped and raised his hand. "Hold position," he ordered. He walked closer, brushing away dust from a fallen wall. Beneath it, the scanner showed something strange, a pulse that didn't match human or Zorak life patterns. It was faint, almost gone. He adjusted the settings, trying to understand what it was. "There's someone here," he said quietly. "Help me clear this section." Lena frowned. "Sir, that's not human. The scanner says unknown life form." "Then it might still need help," Ryan replied. "We don't leave anyone to die." The soldiers set to work, lifting debris and cutting through twisted metal. After several minutes, they found a small open space beneath the rubble. There, lying motionless, was a woman. Her armor was smooth and silver with glowing blue lines. She looked fragile, but her body armor was far more advanced than anything the humans used. Her helmet was cracked and blood stained her shoulder. Ryan knelt beside her, checking her pulse. "She's alive," he said, "barely. We need to move fast." Lena hesitated. "She's not one of ours." "What if she's part of the invasion?" Ryan shook his head. "If she was, the Zorak would not have left her behind. She's hurt and she's alone. We save her." He lifted the woman carefully and carried her out of the rubble. Her body was light and the armor hummed faintly like it was alive. As they stepped into the open air, the horizon burned with fire from falling ships. The Zorak were still bombing the city. The team hurried through the ruined streets. Smoke blocked the sunlight, turning the sky dark red. Ryan's earpiece crackled again. "Commander Hale?" came the voice of Colonel Bren, the officer leading the human retreat. "You're running out of time. The evacuation ship leaves in 15 minutes. Get your squad out now." Ryan looked at the woman in his arms. Her breathing was shallow. "We found a survivor," he replied. "We'll make it." "Negative," Bren said sharply. "If she's not human, she's not priority. Get your team back." Ryan muted the channel. "We're going," he said to Lena. "No one gets left behind." They reached the southern edge of the city, where an old transport tunnel led to the evac zone. The ground shook again as another blast hit nearby. Shards of metal rained down, but Ryan covered the woman with his body to shield her. A piece of burning debris hit his armor, but he ignored the pain and kept running. When they reached the tunnel entrance, the power systems had failed. The metal doors were jammed shut. "Lena, get this open," Ryan said. Lena connected her toolkit and began cutting through the lock. The noise of approaching drones filled the air. Ryan turned and saw the Zorak scouts flying low over the ruins. Their red lights scanned the ground for heat signatures. "Move faster," he said. The door finally opened, and the team rushed inside. The tunnel was dark and filled with dust, but it was their last hope. They ran through it, guided by the small lights on their helmets. Behind them, the drones fired energy blasts that tore through the walls. When they reached the end, Ryan saw the lights of the human evacuation ship rising from the valley. It was already lifting off. He shouted into his comm. "This is Commander Hale. We're coming in hot." "Wait for us," a voice replied. "Make it fast, Commander. We're at full thrusters." Ryan ran with all his strength. The woman stirred slightly in his arms, opening her eyes for the first time. Her voice was soft but firm. "You should leave me," she whispered. "They will come for me again." Ryan shook his head. "Not happening. You're coming with us." Her eyes were a clear silver color glowing faintly. "You do not understand," she said weakly. "If they find me with you, they will destroy your ship." Ryan smiled faintly behind his helmet. "Then we better make sure they don't find us." He jumped aboard the last transport as it began to rise. The doors closed behind them, sealing the chaos below. Through the small window, Ryan watched the city of Eric's Prime fade into a sea of flames. Inside the ship, medics rushed forward to treat the injured woman. They placed her on a table and scanned her armor. The readings made no sense. The metal was made of unknown elements, and the energy inside it was beyond human science. One of the medics looked up at Ryan. "Commander, whoever she is, she's not from any species we've recorded. But she's stable for now," Ryan nodded. "Good, keep her alive. We'll figure out who she is later." As the ship entered orbit, Ryan removed his helmet and looked out at the stars. He was exhausted but relieved. His squad had survived, and they had saved one more life. He didn't care that she was different. To him, a life was a life. Lena walked up beside him. "You went against orders again?" she said quietly. "Bren is going to be furious." Ryan smiled faintly. "He can yell at me later. Right now, I'm just glad we made it." Lena glanced toward the medbay window where the strange woman rested. "You really think she's harmless?" "I don't know," Ryan said. "But something tells me she's not our enemy." The transport ship docked with the human command vessel Orion Gate, which waited in orbit. Ryan and his squad exited the craft and were met by armed guards. Colonel Bren stood in the hallway, his face hard and tired. "Hale," he said, "you brought in something you shouldn't have. You disobeyed a direct order." Ryan stood straight. "I brought in a survivor. That's my duty." Bren pointed toward the med bay. "That thing might be a spy. You put us all at risk." Ryan's voice stayed calm. "She's injured and unarmed. If she's a threat, we'll find out. But if she's innocent, then we did the right thing." Bren sighed. "You always think with your heart, Hale. One day it's going to cost you." Ryan didn't answer. He looked again at the med bay. The woman was awake now, sitting up slowly as the medics checked her vitals. For a brief second, their eyes met through the glass. Her expression was calm, but her eyes carried a depth he couldn't explain. Later that night, the crew rested in the quarters. Ryan stayed in the observation deck, watching the stars drift past. He thought of Eric's Prime, the city he couldn't save, and the people left behind. War had taken so much, but saving one life gave him a reason to keep fighting. Footsteps approached. It was Lena again. She handed him a small data tablet. "The medics finished their first analysis," she said. "Her name might be Mira. It was encoded in her armor signature, and her suit tech is unlike anything in our database." Ryan read the report quietly. "Mira," he repeated. "Strange name." "She's still unconscious," Lena said. "But the readings show she's not human. Her biology is close, though. It's like she's from somewhere far, but not completely alien." Ryan placed the tablet down. "Keep this quiet for now. Until we know more, she's just another survivor." As the lights of the ship dimmed for night cycle, Ryan looked out once more at the endless stars. He had no idea that the woman he had just saved was more than a survivor. He didn't know she carried the legacy of a distant empire, or that her rescue would change the fate of both their worlds. For now, she was just a life he refused to abandon, a stranger found among fire and ruin. And somewhere deep in the medbay, as the ship sailed through space, Mira's eyes opened again. She whispered a few words in a language no one understood, her voice soft and steady. Her gaze moved toward the stars as if remembering a kingdom far beyond human reach. Ryan Hale had no idea that he had just saved a queen. The command vessel Orion Gate moved quietly through space. Its hull glowed faintly against the light of a distant sun. Inside, the crew worked in silence, repairing systems and treating the wounded after the long battle on Eric's Prime. Among the many rooms of the ship, one chamber had drawn special attention, the med bay where the strange woman named Mira rested. Commander Ryan Hale stood near the glass wall of the medical room, watching her closely. She had been unconscious for almost 2 days. The medics had removed her armor and placed it in containment. It was made of materials they could not identify. The scientists said it was alive in some way, as if it was linked to her body. Ryan felt a strange sense of responsibility. He had brought her aboard, and now every officer on the ship was talking about her. Some thought she was a spy, others believed she was a lost traveler, but Ryan only saw someone who needed help. Dr. Reed, the head of medical research, walked up beside him. "She's recovering faster than any human patient I've seen," he said. "Her body heals at an incredible rate. Whatever species she belongs to, they're far more advanced than us." Ryan nodded slowly. "Has she said anything?" Reed shook his head. "Not yet. She wakes for a few minutes, then falls back asleep. Her mind is strong, but she's hiding something. We can feel it." Ryan glanced at the sealed armor on the nearby table. "Keep studying it, but don't damage it," he said. "If she's not our enemy, I don't want her to think we're her captors." Reed smiled slightly. "You always assume the best in people, Commander. I hope it doesn't get you in trouble." Later that night, Ryan entered the med bay quietly. The lights were dim, and the soft hum of machines filled the room. Mira was awake now, sitting up on the bed. Her silver eyes glowed faintly under the light. When she saw Ryan, she watched him carefully but did not speak at first. "You're safe now," Ryan said gently. "We pulled you from the ruins on Eric's Prime. Do you remember what happened?" She nodded slowly. "Yes. The battle was lost before it began." Her voice was calm and melodic, but her tone carried sadness. Ryan noticed the scar on her shoulder had already healed. "You were fighting there?" he asked. "I was trying to escape," she said. "The enemy was not only after the humans. They were after me." Ryan frowned. "The Zorak wanted you too?" She looked down. "Not them, others, my own kind." Her words confused him. "Your own kind?" Mira turned her gaze toward the window where the stars passed like rivers of light. "It doesn't matter now." "I'm far from home." "Tell me, Commander Hale, are your people always so quick to risk their lives for strangers?" Ryan smiled faintly. "We try to be. When someone's in trouble, we help. That's what makes us human." Mira studied him for a long moment. "Humans," she said softly. "I've heard that word before. Some of my people consider your race dangerous because of your spirit. They say you never give up, even when reason tells you to surrender." Ryan crossed his arms. "I'll take that as a compliment." For the first time, she smiled slightly. "Perhaps it is." He asked about her armor, her ship, and where she came from, but she gave few answers. "My world is far from here," she said. "Too far for you to reach. I was not meant to cross paths with your kind, yet here I am." Ryan decided not to press further. "You can rest here as long as you need. No one will harm you." She tilted her head slightly. "You trust easily, Commander." "I trust what I see," Ryan replied. "And right now I see someone who's been through enough." The next morning, rumors spread across the ship. Some crew members claimed the woman in the med bay had strange powers. One engineer swore he saw the lights flicker when she walked by. Another said her armor moved by itself when no one touched it. Colonel Bren called Ryan to his office. The old soldier looked tired and angry.
"Hale, I warned you," Bren said.
"Now half the crew is talking about your mystery guest. The council wants answers. Who is she?" Ryan stood straight. "We don't know yet, sir. But she's not hostile." "Not hostile doesn't mean safe," Bren said. "Her armor has energy readings higher than our entire ship's reactor. If she wanted to, she could destroy this vessel. You brought her here, so this is on you." Ryan's voice stayed calm. "She hasn't shown any aggression. I believe she needs help, not fear." Bren sighed. "Belief doesn't win wars, facts do. Keep her under guard and report anything unusual." When Ryan returned to the medbay, Mira was standing beside her armor. It had been sealed in a containment field, but now it glowed softly, responding to her presence. "You shouldn't be touching that," Ryan said. She looked at him, her expression calm. "It is part of me. Your machines cannot hold it for long." He hesitated.
"Is it a weapon?"
"In the wrong hands, yes," she said. "But I don't wish to harm anyone here." Her honesty felt real, and Ryan believed her. He noticed how she spoke with grace and patience, as if she had been raised among leaders. Yet her eyes carried a heavy loneliness. Days passed. Mira began walking through the ship, escorted by Ryan's team. She observed everything with great curiosity. The engines, the communication systems, even the crew's living quarters. She asked many questions about human history, art, and war. One evening, she joined Ryan in the mess hall. The crew stared but said nothing. Ryan offered her a cup of tea. "You might like this," he said. She took a small sip and nodded. "Your people find comfort in simple things." "That is good. My people forgot such comfort long ago." Ryan leaned back. "You talk like someone who lost their home." She looked at the cup for a moment before answering. "My home still exists, but it is no longer mine. I was born among the Valari, an old race spread across many stars. We were meant to protect balance among the worlds, but greed and power broke us apart. Ryan listened quietly. That sounds like us. We've had our share of wars too. Mira gave a faint smile. Perhaps that is why I feel safe here. You understand the cost of conflict. He asked what she would do next, but she shook her head. I cannot return. My people are divided. If they find me, it will bring danger to you all. Before Ryan could reply, alarms rang through the ship. The crew rushed to their stations. Enemy ships approaching, shouted the officer on the bridge. Unidentified craft closing fast. Ryan ran to the control room with Mira following behind. The radar showed 3 small vessels heading directly toward them. They were fast, sleek, and carried no known markings. Zorak scouts? Lena asked. No, Mira said softly. Those are not Zorak ships. They belong to my people. Ryan turned to her. Your people? I thought you said they were divided. They are, she said, and the ones chasing me serve the wrong side. Colonel Bren appeared on the screen from the command deck. Hale, bring your guest to the bridge immediately. Whoever's following her is about to start a fight. Ryan and Mira arrived at the bridge as the ships came within range. Mira stepped forward and looked at the view screen. Her eyes hardened. That insignia belongs to General Corvin. He betrayed my family. Ryan was confused. Family? She said nothing, but her hand clenched tightly. The ships opened fire, sending bright streaks of energy across the darkness. The Orion Gate shook under the impact. Shields at 60%, shouted the tactical officer. Bren ordered a counterattack, but their weapons barely scratched the enemy shields. Mira turned to Ryan. You must let me help. Bren frowned. You're not touching our systems. She saved your crew once already, Ryan said firmly. We should listen. Mira stepped to the console and placed her hand on it. A surge of light spread through the ship's systems. The controls responded instantly. Your energy weapons are too weak, she said. But I can redirect your shield power to create a pulse strong enough to disable them for a moment. Ryan nodded. Do it. A flash of blue light erupted from the Orion Gate. The enemy ships were caught in the wave and spun out of control. One exploded, the others retreated into the void. The bridge fell silent except for the hum of returning power. Bren stared at her. What did you just do? I protected you, she said simply. Now they know where I am. More will come. Bren turned to Ryan. Get her off my ship before she brings an army here. Ryan stood his ground. If her people are coming, then she's the only one who can tell us why. We keep her here under my responsibility. Bren looked at him for a long time before giving a short nod. You have 24 hours to prove she's not a threat. After that, I'm sending her to Central Command. When the room cleared, Ryan turned to Mira. You just saved all of us again. But you need to tell me the truth now. Who are you, really? Mira met his eyes, her expression calm but proud. I am more than a traveler, Commander. The enemies you just saw are part of my people. I was their leader once, but now they hunt me. Ryan took a deep breath. You mean they're after their own ruler? She looked away. I am no ruler anymore. I was meant to guide them toward peace, but betrayal ended that dream. My name is Mira Velen, and I am the rightful queen of the Velari. The words hung heavy in the air. Ryan felt his heart pound. The woman he had saved from the ruins was not only a survivor, but a queen from another world. He realized then that his single act of kindness had placed humanity in the middle of a galactic power struggle, and the future of both their races might now depend on what he chose to do next. The bridge of the Orion Gate was silent after Mira revealed her true identity. Every officer, every technician, and even Colonel Bren stood frozen. The weight of her words filled the air. Ryan was the first to speak. You're a queen, he said slowly. You mean you're the leader of your people? Mira looked calm, but her voice carried a trace of sadness. I was their leader once. My title is Queen Mira Velen of Valar, heir to the throne of the Velari Dominion. But my crown is gone. My people turned against me when greed consumed them. Colonel Bren stepped forward, his voice sharp. You expect us to believe that a queen from another world just happened to be lying under rubble on a war-torn planet? Mira met his gaze. I did not expect to survive that day, Colonel. My ship was shot down during my escape. I was hunted by those who betrayed me. I fell on Eric's Prime while trying to reach a hidden gate. Your commander found me before they did. Ryan turned toward Bren. She saved the ship yesterday. That proves she's not our enemy, Bren sighed. Maybe, but her enemies are powerful and now they know we're helping her. They'll come again, and next time it won't be just 3 ships. Mira stepped closer. I did not ask you to fight for me. If you release me at the nearest station, I will leave. I cannot risk your people for my cause. Ryan shook his head. You're not going anywhere alone. If those ships were sent by your enemies, they'll track you down before you reach safety. Mira looked at him quietly. You would fight for someone who is not even human? Ryan answered without hesitation. I would fight for someone who helped us when she didn't have to. You earned that. Her eyes softened for a moment. Your people truly are strange. My kind often forget what loyalty means. Perhaps that is why we lost our way. Bren rubbed his forehead. We'll report this to Central Command. They'll decide what to do next. After the meeting, Ryan escorted Mira to a private cabin for her safety. The guards saluted him as they passed, but he could sense their unease. Many still didn't know what to make of her. Mira sat down near the window looking at the stars. Your crew does not trust me, she said. Ryan stood beside her. They just need time. You're something they've never seen before. They're scared. She turned her head slightly. Fear is a dangerous thing. It can turn allies into enemies. Ryan nodded. That's true for humans too. Over the next few hours, the ship drifted toward the border of human space. The Orion Gate's sensors detected strange signals following them. Ryan spent most of his time in the command room, watching for any sign of pursuit. Every time he checked the radar, he found small echoes that appeared and vanished. Lena approached him with a worried look. Sir, those readings keep showing up, but the system can't lock onto them. Could be cloaked ships, Ryan frowned. Valari ships, maybe. If they're cloaked, they're tracking us. Mira entered the room then. She wore a plain jumpsuit now, her armor safely locked away. You are correct, she said. Corvin's forces use stealth drives that bend light around their ships. They are waiting for the right moment to strike. Ryan turned to her. Corvin, you mentioned him before. Who is he? Mira's expression darkened. He was my guardian and commander of the Royal Fleet. I trusted him with everything, but he grew hungry for power. When I refused to use our weapons to conquer new worlds, he betrayed me. He declared that I was unfit to rule and took control of the fleet. Lena looked shocked. So he's after you to secure his rule. Mira nodded. If I die, there will be no one left to challenge his claim. Ryan leaned against the console. Then we can't let that happen. We'll get you somewhere safe, she gave a faint smile. You speak as if it is simple. There is no place safe from Corvin's reach. Ryan looked at the star map. Maybe not in your space, but this is human territory. He'll have to go through us first. That night, Ryan walked through the halls of the ship thinking about what Mira had said. He wondered what kind of world she came from. A place where people betrayed their queen for power. Humanity had its share of wars, but even then, something about her story felt larger, like the fall of a great empire. He found himself near the containment room where her armor was kept. The armor floated inside a sealed glass chamber glowing faintly with blue light. Ryan watched it for a moment, amazed at how alive it seemed. As he stepped closer, the light pulsed gently, reacting to his presence. Dr. Reed appeared behind him. It responds to her heartbeat, Reed said. Even though it's locked away, it's linked to her. I've never seen technology like this. Can it be used as a weapon? Ryan asked. Reed hesitated. Maybe, but it's more than that. It's part of her identity. It adapts to her body's energy field. I think it's a royal armor, something that only she can use. Ryan crossed his arms. Then we'll make sure no one else touches it. When he left, he found Mira waiting in the corridor. She must have sensed what he was doing. You worry too much about me, she said softly. Ryan smiled faintly. You make it easy to worry. She walked beside him in silence for a while. In my world, leaders do not speak to soldiers the way you do, she said. You lead with care. That is rare. I just do what feels right, Ryan said. Maybe that's why I get in trouble. Mira gave a small laugh. Then perhaps trouble is what the universe needs. Their quiet moment ended when the alarms blared again. The red lights flashed across the corridors, and the voice of the tactical officer echoed through the intercom. Multiple contacts detected. Enemy ships uncloaking off the port side. It's the Valari fleet. Ryan ran to the bridge. Through the window, he saw the dark shapes of massive ships emerging from invisibility. Their hulls shimmered like glass, reflecting the starlight. The largest one bore a golden crest shaped like a wing. Mira's expression turned cold. That is Corvin's flagship, the Obsidian Crown. Bren barked orders to the crew. All stations ready. Prepare for combat. Ryan looked at Mira. Can they track your signal? They can track the armor, she said. They can sense its energy across space. They will not stop until they have it. Ryan turned to the communication officer. Jam their scanners. And bring the armor to the escape hangar. We're not letting it fall into enemy hands. Bren looked at him sharply. You're not thinking of running, are you? Ryan shook his head. I'm thinking of drawing them away. They want her in the armor. We split them up. They'll follow one target while we get the other to safety. Mira stepped forward. No, Commander. You are brave, but you cannot face Corvin alone. He will crush you. Ryan met her gaze. Then we don't give him the fight he wants. We outsmart him. Within minutes, the plan was in motion. Ryan's team loaded a decoy pod with a fake energy signature matching Mira's armor. The Orion Gate launched it into space, drawing several of Corvin's ships away, but the Obsidian Crown stayed locked on the main vessel. They're still targeting us, Lena said. Corvin isn't fooled. Ryan gritted his teeth. Then we'll have to fight. The stars lit up as both sides exchanged fire. Blue energy beams clashed with red plasma bolts. The Orion Gate shook violently, alarms blaring across every deck. Mira moved to the tactical console, entering commands faster than the human systems could process. Redirect power from the engines to the shields, she said. If you overcharge the plasma field, it will reflect some of their attacks. Bren watched in disbelief as her plan worked. The ship's shields flared bright blue, bouncing enemy fire back toward the attackers. Two of Corvin's ships exploded under their own reflected blasts. She's buying us time, Ryan said. We need to finish this. But before they could react, a massive energy surge hit them. The Orion Gate spun out of control, alarm screaming. Direct hit from the Obsidian Crown, shouted Lena. Main power offline. The lights flickered and smoke filled the bridge. Mira stumbled but stayed on her feet. He's using a gravity cannon, she said. If he fires again, your ship will be torn apart. Ryan grabbed her arm. Then we're ending this now. You said your armor can link to your mind. Can it connect to our systems? She hesitated. It can, but doing so will expose my location. Corvin will know exactly where I am. Ryan's voice was steady. Then let him find us. We'll be ready. They rushed to the containment room. Mira placed her hand on the glass chamber. The armor responded instantly, wrapping around her body in streams of light. When it finished, she stood tall, surrounded by a faint blue aura. Your ship will not survive this battle, she said, but I can protect it long enough for your people to escape. Ryan shook his head. We stay together. We fight together. She looked at him, her voice softer now. You are a strange man, Commander Hale. Very few would stand beside me knowing what danger I bring. Then you've been around the wrong kind of people, Ryan said. She closed her eyes, and the armor's energy spread through the ship's systems. The Orion Gate's lights brightened as her power merged with the engines. A beam of pure blue light burst from the ship, striking the Obsidian Crown. The massive enemy vessel trembled, its shields collapsing. Corvin's voice echoed through the comm channel, filled with rage. You cannot hide forever, Mira. Even if you win today, your world will burn. Mira's expression stayed calm. Then I will rebuild it with those who still believe in peace. The Orion Gate fired one final volley. The Obsidian Crown retreated into the shadows of space, vanishing from sight. The battlefield fell silent. The crew cheered, but Ryan saw Mira fall to her knees. Her armor dimmed, the light fading. He rushed forward and caught her before. The Orion Gate floated silently through the empty stars after the last battle. Inside the ship, the crew worked quickly to repair the damage from the attack. Sparks flew, alarms flickered, and the hum of energy filled the corridors. Even though the threat had temporarily vanished, Ryan Hale knew that Corvin's fleet was still out there, searching. Mira lay in the med bay, her armor resting in its containment field. The energy she had used during the fight had drained her greatly, but the medics said she would recover. She remained quiet, staring at the ceiling, thinking of the empire she had once ruled. Ryan walked in and sat beside her. How are you feeling? He asked softly. She opened her silver eyes and smiled faintly. Stronger than yesterday, but still not at full power. I will need a few cycles to fully recover. Ryan nodded. Good. We'll get you safe until then. No one else will touch you or your armor. Mira's gaze turned toward the window, watching the stars drift by. Your people are strong, Commander. Even when faced with chaos, you do not give up. That is what saved me, Ryan shrugged. We just do what we can. But you saved us too. That last attack, without you, we would have lost everyone. She looked at him seriously. It was a risk I had to take. If Corvin caught me, he would have destroyed this vessel to take the armor. The only reason your people survived was because you acted with courage and loyalty. That is rare, Ryan smiled. Then I'm glad we met under such strange circumstances. Their quiet moment was broken by the ship's tactical alarms. Lena ran into the med bay. Commander, sensors are picking up multiple signals approaching fast. They're not cloaked. They're large capital ships and they're coming directly at us. Ryan felt a knot tighten in his chest. Corvin's fleet? Mira shook her head. No, these are loyal Valari ships. The ones who still support me. They recognized the energy from my armor and came to protect me. Ryan blinked. Loyal Valari? You mean reinforcements are here? Yes, she said. The Valari have not forgotten the old promises. Some of my people remain true to the values I once taught. They tracked me to your vessel. Lena stared at the display. Their fleet is massive. Hundreds of ships. This will dwarf Corvin's forces if they arrive at full strength. Ryan's mouth went dry. He had faced battles before, but this was unlike anything he had imagined. Human ships were outnumbered and outgunned in space, yet somehow the presence of these new ships changed the balance. On the bridge, Mira moved forward and touched the controls, sending encrypted signals. I'm signaling the fleet. They will respond to my command now. Ryan watched as small lights blinked on the star map, representing ships aligning in formation. That's incredible, he whispered. Suddenly, a comm channel opened. A deep voice spoke with authority. Queen Mira, we have been searching for you. Your call is heard. We are prepared to defend you. Mira's eyes glowed faintly. Thank you, Captain Verrill. Keep formation. We moved together. Ryan turned to Colonel Bren. Sir, the Valari loyalists are here. They're going to help us fight Corvin if he attacks. Bren's jaw tightened. That's a fleet from another galaxy, Hale. Are you sure we can trust them? Ryan nodded. She is their queen. They follow her without question. As the Orion Gate moved with the Valari fleet, Ryan watched the stars with a mix of awe and worry. The coming battle would be unlike anything humanity had ever faced. Yet for the first time, he felt hope. Hours later, the fleet reached the edge of the war zone. Corvin's ships were waiting. Hundreds of black vessels lined in formation. His flagship, the Obsidian Crown, led the formation, its massive hull glowing with energy. Corvin's betrayal had made him ruthless, and he would not hesitate to destroy everything to claim Mira's armor. Mira stood at the front of the Orion Gate, her armor glowing faintly. Prepare for battle, she said calmly. We will face them together. Ryan turned to Lena. Take your stations. All human weapons online. Don't hold back. We have Valari support, but every ship counts. The enemy fleet moved forward. Corvin's ships fired energy beams, lighting up space with brilliant explosions. The Orion Gate dodged, weaving between fire and debris. Ryan felt the ship shake as several small energy blasts hit the shields. Mira's armor hummed, and she placed her hand on the console. I can help redirect energy to your weapons, Commander. Your cannons will reach further and strike harder. Ryan nodded. Do it. A blue glow spread through the ship, merging human technology with Mira's alien armor. The Orion Gate fired with new strength, and several of Corvin's smaller ships were destroyed instantly. The Valari fleet joined the attack, surrounding Corvin's formation. Corvin's voice echoed across the comms. You cannot hide behind loyalty, Mira. Your reign is over. Mira's eyes were steady. You betrayed your people, Corvin. Your reign is built on fear, not respect. Today you face the consequences. The battle raged across the void of space. Human ships fired from behind the Valari fleet using every cannon they had. The Orion Gate wove through the combat. Guided by Ryan's expert piloting and Mira's control of the armor, a large energy blast from the Obsidian Crown hit the Orion Gate's shields, sending shockwaves through the ship. Ryan gritted his teeth. Hold together, he shouted. We're not losing today. Mira's armor glowed brightly, and she raised her hands toward the controls. A wave of energy spread from the Orion Gate, disabling several of Corvin's smaller ships. The Valari loyalists pressed forward, their weapons cutting through the enemy fleet like a storm. Corvin's flagship fired again, a massive energy beam directed at the Orion Gate. Ryan pushed the engines to full power, but it was not enough. Mira touched the console, her eyes glowing silver. The armor released a pulse of energy, bending the beam and sending it back toward the Obsidian Crown. The enemy flagship shook violently, systems failing one by one. Corvin screamed in rage. Impossible. This cannot happen. Mira stepped forward, her voice calm but firm. Your reign is over, Corvin. Surrender and your people may still survive. The remaining enemy ships began to retreat, their formation broken. The Volari fleet pursued them, ensuring they would not regroup. Slowly, the battlefield quieted. Stars reflected on the wreckage floating in space, a reminder of the destruction that war could bring. Ryan looked at Mira, still glowing faintly with the power of her armor. You did it, he said. You saved the fleet and all of us. She shook her head. I did what I had to. Your people's courage gave me the chance. Without humanity's bravery, Corvin would have succeeded. Colonel Bren appeared on the bridge. He looked at Mira with a mixture of respect and disbelief. Hail, he said. I underestimated her. She's no ordinary survivor. That was remarkable. Ryan nodded. She's not ordinary at all, sir. She's a queen. Mira's eyes softened as she looked at the Orion Gate. Thank you, Commander Hale. You risked everything to save me. That act of kindness will not be forgotten. Ryan smiled faintly. We all do what we must. Today, it was my honor to fight alongside you. Hours later, the Volari loyalists escorted the Orion Gate to a safe sector near the edge of human space. The ship was damaged but intact. Ryan and the crew began repairs, grateful to have survived such a battle. Mira sat quietly in her medbay, the glow of her armor fading. Your people have a strength I admire, she said softly to Ryan. Perhaps humanity is not so fragile after all. Ryan sat beside her. We survive because we help each other. That's what makes us strong. She nodded slowly. Then perhaps our worlds can one day be allies. Not because of fear, but because of respect and trust. Ryan looked at her, realizing how true her words were. Humanity had always faced danger, yet they had courage, compassion, and determination. Today, those qualities had changed the fate of a galaxy far beyond their understanding. Mira placed her hand on his. Commander, one day I will return to my throne. And when I do, I will remember who saved me when I had no one else. Ryan shook his head. You don't need to reward me. I only did what was right. Mira smiled faintly. That is what makes you human. And that is why your race will survive, no matter the challenge. The Orion Gate floated through space as the stars shimmered around them. Humanity had proven itself once again. Courage, hope, and kindness had changed the course of events on a galactic scale. And for the first time, Ryan Hale understood that the galaxy was larger, more dangerous, and more wondrous than he had ever imagined. For Mira, the loyal Volari fleet, and humanity, the war was not over. But today, victory had a new meaning, one defined not just by power or conquest, but by bravery, loyalty, and the bonds between worlds. And Ryan Hale knew that the story of that day, and the queen he had saved, would be remembered across stars for generations to come. The Orion Gate floated in quiet space, moving steadily toward the nearest human station. Repairs were ongoing, and the crew worked tirelessly to restore the ship to full strength. Though the danger of Corvin's fleet had passed for now, the tension aboard was still strong. Every officer knew the Volari loyalists would soon escort Mira home, but the thought of intergalactic politics weighed heavily on all of them. Commander Ryan Hale walked through the corridors, observing the activity. The human crew were exhausted but determined. Each one understood that the events of the past days had changed everything. Ryan paused at the medbay where Mira rested. She had recovered from the energy drain, her silver armor gently glowing in containment. You've healed faster than I expected, Ryan said. Mira opened her eyes and smiled faintly. I had no choice. My enemies are still out there and I cannot afford weakness. But I am grateful for your people's care. You gave me strength when I needed it most, Ryan nodded. It's what we do. Humanity survives by helping each other. You'll see that if you ever come to rely on us again. Mira studied him carefully. You speak with honesty. That is rare in the galaxy. Perhaps that is why I trusted you from the first moment you saved me. Ryan looked away modestly. I only did what anyone should do. You were in danger and I could not let you die. The medics finished their checks and reported that she was ready to travel. Mira rose and walked to the containment chamber. She placed her hands on the glass and the armor floated gently around her. The blue light shimmered as if it recognized her will. Ryan watched, fascinated. Your armor is amazing. It's like it's alive. It is, Mira said softly. It responds to my energy. It is a symbol of my people's trust and my responsibility. Corvin wanted to use it as a weapon, but I will only wield it to protect life. As she prepared to leave, The Valari Loyalist fleet arrived in formation, filling the viewports with sleek, shining ships. Captain Verrill, her loyal commander, appeared on the screen. "Your Majesty, we are ready to escort you home," he said. Mira bowed slightly. "Thank you, Captain. Your loyalty is remembered." Ryan approached her. "Are you sure it's safe for you to go back now?" Mira's eyes met his. "Corvin has retreated, but he will regroup. I must return to reclaim my throne. Humanity has shown me its strength. I know you will survive, but you must remain vigilant." Ryan hesitated. "I suppose this is goodbye then?" She shook her head gently. "No, Commander. This is the beginning of a new alliance. Our worlds have crossed paths, and together, we can face the threats to the galaxy. I will not forget your kindness or the bravery of your people." He smiled faintly. "I will remember too, and I hope one day our people can meet as equals, not just as survivors of war." Mira placed her hand on his shoulder briefly. The armor hummed softly, a gentle pulse of energy. "You have the heart of a leader, Ryan Hale. Protect your people and they will follow you far." The Orion Gate moved into formation with the Valari fleet. Together they set a course toward human space. Ryan watched the stars flow past, feeling a sense of pride. Humanity had faced impossible odds and survived. They had fought beside a queen from another galaxy and proved that courage and loyalty could overcome even the greatest dangers. During the journey, Mira shared stories of Valari history with Ryan and the human officers. She spoke of great empires, lost worlds, and the lessons learned from centuries of conflict. Her voice was calm and wise, and the crew listened attentively. Humanity's curiosity matched her own, and the exchange of knowledge strengthened the bond between their worlds. At the human station, preparations were made to welcome the Valari fleet. Diplomatic officials were briefed on the arrival of the alien queen, and security measures were increased. Ryan walked through the station, explaining to the crew that the Valari loyalists were allies, not enemies. The humans prepared to honor Mira while respecting her authority. When the fleet arrived, the scene was breathtaking. The Valari ships glowed with blue light, and the Orion Gate moved proudly at the front. The humans lined the docking bays, watching as the queen descended from her ship. Mira's armor shimmered faintly in the artificial lights, a symbol of her people's legacy and strength. Colonel Bren approached Ryan. "I must admit, Hale, I was wrong about her." "She is remarkable," Ryan nodded. "I told you, sir. Not everyone can be judged by appearances. Sometimes courage and loyalty define a person more than any title." Mira stepped onto the station platform and the crowd fell silent. She raised her hand slightly in greeting and the humans responded with respect. She spoke in a clear voice that carried across the hangar. "People of humanity, I am Queen Mira Valen of the Valari Dominion. I come not as a conqueror but as a friend. We have faced enemies together, and I have seen the bravery of your people. Let this moment mark the beginning of trust and cooperation between our worlds." Applause filled the hangar. Ryan watched, proud of both humanity and the queen he had saved. He realized that one act of courage on Eric's Prime had led to this moment, a bond that could change the course of galactic history. Over the following weeks, the Orion Gate crew and Valari loyalists worked together to rebuild their fleets. Humans shared their knowledge of engineering and combat strategy, while the Valari shared advanced technologies, medicine, and star maps of distant galaxies. The exchange strengthened both civilizations, creating a partnership based on respect and trust. Mira spent her days preparing to return to her home planet, reclaim her throne, and restore order among her people. Yet she remained in constant communication with Ryan and the humans. Their bond had become personal, built on shared experiences, bravery, and understanding. One evening, as the station lights dimmed for the cycle, Mira stood with Ryan overlooking the starfield. The two worlds they represented had survived great danger, and now they looked to the future together. "Commander Hale," she said softly, "you have a rare spirit. You see others not for their title or their power, but for who they are. That is why humanity thrives. That is why you survived." Ryan smiled faintly. "And you, Queen Mira, have taught me that courage can come from anyone, even those we do not expect. You showed us how to fight with wisdom and strength." Mira's eyes glowed faintly. "Then perhaps our alliance will endure not because of fear or obligation, but because we respect what is true in each other." Ryan nodded. "I hope so. And when you return to your throne, know that humans will stand with you as allies, not subjects." Mira extended her hand. Ryan took it. a gesture of friendship and trust between two very different worlds. The power of a queen, combined with the courage of humanity, promised a future that had once seemed impossible. In the weeks that followed, Corvin's forces were pursued by the combined fleets of Valari loyalists and human ships. Corvin himself fled to the distant edge of the galaxy, his influence diminished. The threat he posed was not gone entirely, but the power of unity and trust had turned the tide. Ryan and Mira shared many hours discussing strategy, history, and the potential for exploration. The humans learned from Valari technology, while the Valari understood the courage and adaptability of humanity. Together they formed a council to oversee the alliance and ensure peace between their peoples. Before leaving for her home planet, Mira called a formal assembly of humans. She spoke with dignity and grace, thanking them for saving her life and welcoming her back into her role as queen. Ryan stood at her side, the first human to be honored by a Valari ruler. "You saved me when no one else could," Mira said, looking at Ryan. "And because of that, you saved countless lives. Humanity is brave, compassionate, and strong." "I will never forget that," Ryan bowed slightly. "It was my honor, Your Majesty. We only did what we could. Your survival was worth any risk." With her armor glowing one last time, Mira boarded the Valari flagship, accompanied by her loyal fleet. The Orion Gate and the human ship saluted as they departed. Ryan watched the starfield in silence, knowing that the galaxy had changed forever. The act of saving one life, one queen, had sparked a chain of events that united worlds, defeated a tyrant, and proved that courage, loyalty, and kindness could overcome even the greatest challenges. As Mira's fleet disappeared into the stars, Ryan Hale turned back to his crew. "We've done something remarkable," he said. "Not just for ourselves, but for everyone who will come after us. Humanity has a place in the galaxy, and today we proved it." Lena smiled. "And to think it all started with a single choice." "You didn't leave her behind, Commander." Ryan nodded. "Sometimes the smallest choice changes everything. Courage isn't just about fighting, it's about deciding to do the right thing when no one else will." The Orion Gate sailed on, repaired, and stronger than ever. Humanity had survived the trials of war and proven that the heart of a single human could shape the fate of entire galaxies. And somewhere among the stars, a queen remembered the man who saved her, knowing that the bond they had formed would endure through time, space, and all the challenges to come. In that moment, Ryan understood what he had always believed. Humanity would survive, humanity would rise, and in the vast expanse of the universe, their courage and loyalty would light the way. The story of Eric's Prime, of the Valari Queen, and the humans who fought alongside her, became legend. Not because of the wars or battles, but because of what made humans strong, their courage, the